So hello friends, it's Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal. And today we are going to talk to Nick DeVirgilio, who is going to present a new CD called Troika. But Nick, this CD is released under the name DeVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings, no?
Yep, that's the title. It's a mouthful.
I'm glad to talk to you again. So the last time we talked was when you released the Invisible CD. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much. It's good to see you again.
Yes, me too. The new CD, Troika, was a surprise to me. You know that I'm a Spanish speaker, so I pronounce Troika very fast, very hard, strong. And the promo say that Neal Morse calls you to get in the project. How was it really?
Yeah, that's basically how it is. And Neal had an idea of trying to make a record in the fashion of Crosby, Stills, Nash, Beatles, you know, big, nice, lush 3-part harmonies, acoustic guitars, maybe a little more light compared to all of the heavy prog that, you know, both of us do quite often. And I'm always up for making music. I love Neal. I love making music with him. So I thought it'd be a really fun thing to try and do. And I haven't done anything like that in quite a long time. So I said yes right away.
Please don't take this question as a disrespect, Nick, but I want to ask you why your name is in the first position and not Morse, DeVirgilio, and Jennings.
Believe me, we went around every possible way to do that.
Yes.
Who was going to go first? I didn't make the final. I think Ross may have made the final decision. He thought that was it flowed the best that way. I have no good answer for you. I'm sorry.
No problem. I think that with this name, DeVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings, is that the punch is that if you say Morse, maybe it could be Neal Morse or Steve Morse, but DeVirgilio, there is only one.
There's only one.
There's only one. Yes. So let me tell you that when I started listening Everything I Am, I tried to remember when did I listen to that song from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And you speak about that influence in this CD. Tell me about the song, please.
You know, listen, Neal and myself especially, I think Ross a little bit, but for sure me and Neal were influenced by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young back in the 70s and, 80s and that kind of stuff. I like that kind of music, and there are great songs back there. So a little bit of that has seeped into our bones over the years, and one thing Neal definitely wanted to try and do is not make the whole record like that. That particular song definitely has that sound, but we didn't want to do the whole record like that. So maybe one or two of them could definitely feel and be influenced a lot by Crosby, Stills, and Nash. But we didn't want to make the whole record like that. So that particular tune, yeah, it just has that vibe to it. It's in D, it's got the nice finger picking, and just the way Neal wrote those vocal parts really harkens back to old school Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
There are more difference. There are more variety. I will ask about some songs, and you will tell me, because what will happen that maybe I think that a song that I'm going to mention look like Boston, the band, and you will say maybe not. Maybe you were thinking in Jefferson Starship, for example.
Okay.
Everyone has his own sense of music. So
sure.
to me, One Time Less is the song most into the Beatles. I say harmonies. What do you think?
I would agree with you. Neal is a huge Beatles fan, and he gets a lot of his influences from those bands like that, and me as well. But like when we were young in Spock's Beard early on in those days, we would sing Beatles and Crosby, Stills, Nash songs after gigs until 3, 4 in the morning, almost every night. It was crazy. We did this all the time. So those kinds of bands and that particular song, yeah, it has a little bit of that tinge to it for sure.
I'm a happy person. I'm a rocker. So my favorite song is Another Trip Around, with this sense of pop music from the 70s. So tell me, who wrote that song?
That's Ross wrote that song. What was really cool about this project is that the three of us all brought our songwriting into the mix.
Mhm.
And I've known Ross for an awfully long time. I'm a big fan of Haken. I think he's fantastic in that band. And I didn't know his other side, his other like singer-songwriter side. I didn't know that he played guitar that well, any of those kinds of things. So it was a really fun, pleasant surprise and pleasant thing to come upon. And that particular song is it's really cool. It's groovy. It's fun. It just has a nice different take. His style of how he thinks about music is obviously different than me and Neil. So it adds a nice flavor.
Another thing that surprised me is, for example, Everything I Am, even when the sense is like Crosby, Still and Nash, there is a different, is that song start with you playing bongos. Yes, that Crosby, Still and Nash never do that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and tell me about it. How was your approach in percussion to the different songs? Because some are with drums, others are with bongos. Did you use different?
Yeah, what was cool about this project for me is I got to use some percussion instruments I don't get a chance to play that often.
Yes.
I have a nice little collection of stuff around the studio. So I was able to pick and pull things that I haven't used in quite a long time. And that could be anything from little shakers to kashishis and different sort of weird sounds like that, to congas and bongos, lots of cajon, things like this. So it depended on the song, of course. If it needed more, I would play drums. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun to build the rhythm tracks with just percussion instruments. You do one at a time and make these nice layers. Before you know it, you have a pretty full sound, and there's no drum set at all. It's all percussion instruments. So it's a lot of fun.
I know that in the last years, but maybe the last 20 years, you have been trying to improve your vocal skills, singing. Every time you sing better. And I listen a song that catch my attention, that is My Guardian, because there are moments when the voice resembles to me like Steve Walsh from Kansas.
That's me.
No, don't tell me. Yes.
Yeah, that's my song. Yeah. And it's really fun to hear what people think of the influence. I love Steve Walsh and I like Kansas and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't going for that sound, but it's nice I was just making my own song, and doing my thing. And it's really interesting to hear your take and that you think it has that sort of vibe. I think that's a nice compliment. It's cool.
I thought that because in this song, there are part of the lyric that is a little more dramatic, an extra drama in the lyrics that maybe you didn't do that way. It's only me who understood that.
But that's the magic of music, everybody has their own feeling and the way songs speak to them. That's what makes music so cool, I think,
And finally, the rocker song is Secondhand Songs. So did you think that the lyric deserve a stronger approach, or you try to make it because it's the most different song of the CD?
Well, that's Neil's song. And once we were it was kind of getting down the line in the project and stuff. And Neil thought it would be a good idea to have one sort of rock song, a little bit of energy, just to kind of, to change it up a little bit. So the record isn't so mellow, just to kind of, just to do something like that. We really had no rules for this record. We just sort of did things. And once we got the songs going, we could kind of see how they were laying back to back and the feeling and the flow. And so Neil, again, thought that it'd be nice to have something up and a little bit rocking. And he wrote that song and we went for it.
So it take me, I need to listen the CD twice to discover that the music from the CD is from this going, up, a little more rhythm, more energy, and then secondhand songs, and then go back, but slowly, not goes back. And the next song that I don't remember the name because I have listened the CD just twice is, I said, the previous song before secondhand song and the song after, they are not too soft. They are a little more energetic, but not like secondhand songs. So tell me, how was the idea of put the selection on the CD? It was your?
No, it was a group effort to
Yes.
do this. Gosh, it's always a challenge to play songs in the right order for any record. As an artist and as a band, we always think of records as someone sitting down and listening to the whole record from top to bottom. Not everybody does that, of course, but you put it together as something to where you take the listener on a ride. So it's not just kind of straight flat all the way across. It has some ebb and flow. It goes up and down. Energy gets big and soft, and you go on a ride. And that's what every band or artist tries to achieve when they put songs in order. And that's just what we did here with this one, or tried to do.
I felt that you are really, really interested in your vocal skills. I have the fear that there will be some moment that you will leave the drum apart and you will be totally a singer.
No. Yeah, I still have to do both things. I love singing. I do. I really love singing. And I like being out front on the stage and just being a singer. It's a different feeling. I want both things. I want my cake and I want to eat the cake too. I want both things if I can have them. So it's great. So I'm lucky to be able to do both things. So if I get the chance to come up front and sing, for sure, but I'll always be a drummer too, for sure.
This was basically the ideas, but do you have plans to bring this project alive?
I hope so. I've already told the guys we need to go play live. So I'm pushing for it big time. I don't know exactly when, but because Neil is touring his solo band right now, and he's got shows over there in Europe in this May or June, I think, for Neil Morse band. And then I think Haken is doing some shows as well. So there's got to get the guys free from their other projects. And then, gosh, I really hope we go out and play live. I think it would be a fun night of music for sure.
The busier person in the band, but you are busy because if a band calls you to play the drums, you will go.
Yeah, it depends. I'm just trying to make a living and pay the bills and make, all the normal things that go with it too. So it just depends for sure.
Before finishing, I would like to ask you about the CD cover. So if you have this cover of Troika, you know that what you have is a surprise, because the CD to me is a surprise. It's a surprise to see you singing, or to see all of you singing in the same way, doing these vocal parts. Tell me, who did the cover and the design?
His name is Joel Barrios, lives down in Miami, Florida, here in the United States, originally from Cuba. And he does art for many bands. He did my website. He does the art for other bands. And then he's become a good friend of all of us over the years. And we had him do the art for it. He made a lot of those pictures up himself. He's a very creative guy. He'd put all the things together and do a collage and put them in Photoshop. And anyway, he's a friend of ours, and he's the one that is the art for the record.
Let me confess you that I knew it. It was Joel. We are Cubans and we are very strong friends. But now I'm going to tell you something that from time to time, I need to tell Joel. For example, I will never forget that I had an accident and I broke my ankle. And the person who take me to the hospital and stay here until everything was finished was Joel.
Yeah, he's a beautiful person. I love Joel. He's a great guy, great family man. He works so hard. It's ridiculous. He puts in so many hours, and he's just a sweetheart of a person and very talented at what he does. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he stayed with you and helped you recover, because he's got the heart to do things like that.
I never forget this. So because to be a good person, part of this is that you must remember the people who help you when you are in trouble.
You bet, of course.
Yes. So basically, Nick, this was our conversation. Let me tell you that I really enjoy this CD. I hope to see you playing drums or singing or whatever here in Spain the next time.
I hope so too, man.
Yes. So, and I know that you like good wine. So if I know that you will come to Madrid, I will buy a good wine for you.
Perfect. I miss Spain. It's been so long since I've been there. In the past, I went to Spain quite often and got to see all over the country, and it's a gorgeous place, and the wine is fantastic, and the food is amazing. So I can't wait to come back. Let's definitely share some wine together when I come.
So, and if you want to say something to the people who are your fan or the people who wants to know more about the band, this is your last words.
Oh, just go search out the music wherever you can, buy the record, enjoy it. And thank you for the support over all of these years.
Nick, thank you very much for your time. It is really a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, sir.
So, bye-bye. It was Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal talking to Nick DeVirgilio, who is going, because the CD will be released this week. Next week.
February 25. Hold on, let me get the exact date. Hold on. Yes, February 25th.
Yes, in 10 days, we will have
Exactly.
an amazing new CD from DeVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings, Troika. Bye-bye, Nick.
Ciao, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.